All right, today we're going to tackle a really critical question in retirement planning. How do you protect your life savings from one of the biggest, yet most overlooked, financial risks out there? It's a tough question, right? It's one that worries a lot of people who are planning for their future. You can do everything right. You can save diligently, invest wisely, but a single unexpected health crisis can threaten to unravel the whole thing. This is really where a financial plan gets put to the test. And that threat, it actually has a name. It's the cost of long-term care. See, it's not some dramatic market crash you see on the news. It's a lot quieter than that. It's this slow, steady drain on your resources that can become what some call a silent retirement destroyer, completely changing your financial future and your family's.
Okay, so let's get really clear about what we're actually up against here. This isn't just some minor budget item we're talking about. For most people, it's retirement's single biggest unplanned expense.
So here's a really crucial way to reframe this whole thing. We tend to think of long-term care as a health event. But you know what? It almost always becomes a financial event first. It can skyrocket your monthly spending, forcing you to pull from your retirement accounts way faster than you ever planned. And this is so important, it can put tremendous pressure on a surviving spouse, potentially jeopardizing their financial stability for years to come.
So, if that's the problem, what's the solution? How do you plan for something like this without just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best? Well, this brings us to a strategy that's really designed to solve two problems at once, a kind of two-in-one solution.
This solution is often called a hybrid annuity, or sometimes an asset-based approach. At its core, it's a fixed annuity, which is a type of contract designed to protect your initial investment. But it has this powerful second layer, a built-in, structured benefit that helps pay for care if you ever need it. I love this way of thinking about it. It's like having Plan A and Plan B all in one single contract. Plan A is your main goal, protecting your savings for retirement income. That money is there for you. But Plan B is the built-in backup plan. If you end up needing long-term care, the contract just shifts gears into benefit mode to help cover those costs, which in turn protects the rest of your nest egg. And this is where the strategy is just fundamentally different from traditional long-term care insurance. With traditional insurance, you're paying those premiums month after month, year after year. If you never need care, well, that money is just gone. It's what they call a sunk cost. With a hybrid annuity, you're not taking on a new bill. Instead, you're just repositioning assets you already have. And if care isn't needed, that contract still has value. It just stays part of your retirement assets.
All right, so that's the what. Now let's get into the how. How does this thing actually work from start to finish? Okay, it usually works in 4 main stages. First, you fund it with a single deposit, basically moving a lump sum from one of your accounts into this new contract. Second, that money grows based on a stable, predictable interest rate. Third, if you qualify for care, you activate the benefits, which gives you access to a much larger, enhanced pool of money. But, and this is the key, if you never need care, you just stay right there in that growth and protection phase, and the annuity simply remains a valuable piece of your overall financial plan.
This quote just hits the nail on the head. It really captures the psychology behind it. The crucial point is that it changes your mindset. It feels less like you're spending money on insurance and a lot more like you're just reorganizing your assets to be more efficient and more secure.
Okay, but let's be real. No financial strategy is perfect, and there are always trade-offs. To make a smart decision, you have to understand not just what you're getting, but also what you might be giving up. So let's look at 2 key considerations. First up is something called the surrender period. In simple terms, this just means there's a set number of years where your money isn't 100% liquid. If you take out more than a specified free amount, you could get hit with a charge.
So why do they do this? Well, this trade-off is basically what allows the insurance company to offer those big long-term care benefits. Now, it's not like your money is totally locked up. Most of these contracts let you take out, say, 10% each year without a penalty. But it does mean you need to plan carefully and make sure the amount of money you commit to the annuity lines up with your need for liquid cash.
All right, the second big feature to get your head around is the elimination period. The easiest way to think about this, it's like a deductible, but instead of being measured in dollars, it's measured in time. It's a waiting period, often something like 90 days, after you officially qualify for care, but before the policy actually starts paying out benefits.
And this is a really critical detail because it boils down to one question. Who's paying for the first few months of care? Is it you out of your own pocket, or is it the policy? Now, if you have strong cash reserves, a longer elimination period might be perfectly fine. But if you want to avoid having to drain other accounts right away, you'll probably want a shorter one. It's a key point you can customize to fit your situation.
So, we've covered what this is, how it works, and some of the key trade-offs. That leads us to the biggest question of all. Is this strategy actually a good fit for you and your financial personality?
Well, a pretty clear profile tends to emerge for the kind of person this really clicks with. We're talking about conservative planners who put protecting their principal at the top of their list. They want that long-term care protection, but they really dislike the use-it-or-lose-it feel of traditional insurance. And so often they've seen firsthand what a long-term care event did to a parent's finances or a friend's, and that makes the whole issue very real and very personal for them.
You know, when you really boil it all down, it's about a fundamental shift in perspective, and this quote just captures it perfectly. It completely reframes the conversation. The goal isn't to try and predict the future. The goal is to build a financial plan that's resilient enough to handle multiple futures, protecting your lifestyle and your spouse no matter what happens.
And that really leaves us with one last powerful thought to chew on. What if this solution to a major future expense isn't about finding more money for a new bill, but about finding a smarter way to organize the resources you already have? Something to think about. Thanks so much for tuning in.